Glad to have you back on this segment of Engendered on KAFTAN TV. And if you're just joining us, you're right in time because the show just started. And today, I think we should just go straight to the point and before we talk about other things. We are going to be discussing, we always discuss important topics on Engendered. We don't play around. We talk about things that are affecting us clearly. And we're going to be discussing something that is particular to the female gender, in respect to politics at the office, at the home, and every sphere of life actually. And we're going to be discussing women in leadership. And doing this with us is Tomisin Komolafe. She is a development and leadership advocate. You're welcome to the show.
You're welcome. So much.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you. You look pretty. Your hair is fine.
Thank you. Okay, so before we start or delve into our topic today, I would like to get your honest opinion. Which is your challenge? Fuel scarcity, PVC, Naira note? Lots of. Which of them is your challenge right now?
Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start from. The first thing, I think the conversation should start from where it all began today. You know, I went to make my hair today in the salon. And interestingly, all of these things you mentioned, is it the fuel, is it the currency, is it the scarcity? Like everything was just all over the place. You know, going to like not even being able to access the money. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. So in fact, I can't put a priority. I don't know which one is worse. Everyone have their baggages. Yeah, that's just the thing. Honestly.
Because it's as bad as even the old Naira movement is also scarce.
Yeah. I don't want.
If you now say, okay, is the cashless policy stop? Let's do the transfer. No, internet is the apps are not working. They're not opening.
I would say maybe the CBN printed less amount of money because even the so-called big men are suffering from it as well.
I think the information some people they said who have been holding the money and even.
There is video that on KAFTAN TV and Instagram shared this afternoon. It was showing that some bandits already have millions of naira in the
new notes.
Yes,
interesting.
There is so many reports right now. We don't know which one
is exactly.
That's the thing.
But they were displaying some new naira notes and they said they have enough money for them to buy more guns.
I think that's in Nigeria we just live in. You really don't even know what it is.
There's so much happening.
It's just.
I also saw a meme today. They saw lots of Nigerians on the queue. Then the teller, the counter bank person was like, "There's no cash." Right behind the counter,
I just saw it.
You saw a big man collecting thousands of money, bundles of the new Naira notes. Wow. It's really sad thing. We don't know actually what the problem is right now, but we hope the people in charge will tackle it and help us.
Well, we're hope. We can I was talking about some people don't have money. Like some people are complaining that things are really expensive now. Now the POS agents will want to withdraw money because of the stress that they've gone through in getting the cash. Some people are now charging as high as 100 naira for 1,000. So if you want to withdraw 10,000 naira, talking about 1,000 naira, then you're usually withdrawing 11,000 to dash them 1,000 naira for your 10,000. Please, everything.
There is a two story to this. You know, most of the POS people, most of them go get the cash for free.
Okay.
Then there are other people who buy this money from other. I don't know if it's from the bank people now. They sell this money to them. That's why they increase their own rate. Now, these normal POS people now took advantage of it and increased theirs as well. And everybody's suffering it. It's really a sad story. One thing about Nigerians, they know how to take advantage of things. And they forget that it's also the masses that still have to do with this suffering.
It's really in situations like this, like the masses will actually stand up for themselves. But instead, we just take advantage of those kind of situations. Yeah, and just
imagine one pepper seller out there that just wants to get 1,000 naira for her to eat, and then you still have to
about pepper seller. What about me? This morning I was about coming to work. I did not see anywhere to withdraw money. The person I saw, I was even lucky. He told me 3,000 for 500 naira. And I didn't have a choice. So now I was like, okay, I'll give you. I didn't even argue because I looked for, I suffered if I could get a POS dispensing the cash. So maybe she told me 500 naira. I said, give me. So I don't know. So she just changed her mind. Madam, is 300 naira. I said, anyone, just give me my change.
You have the money, you can't get
it. Hi, you and your money.
So we pray and hope for a better Nigeria. All the stress comes to an end, actually. So moving on to our topic of discussion today, I'll just read a brief intro on what we're going to discuss.
Okay.
And like I said, our topic is women in leadership. Although their numbers have increased, as the numbers of women in leadership has increased somewhat over the last 20 years, women continue to be underrepresented within top management ranks. The debate as to why more women don't make it to the top remains unresolved. One assumption is that a cocktail of initiatives designed to improve working conditions for women will eventually combat this problem. Will it actually combat this problem? Reports have it that death of women in senior leadership persists because we don't have measures in place like legislated quotas, flexible work hours, better childcare support, women advocacy groups, and research. Is the problem one of gender, or is it something else? Are we treating the symptoms and not the real cause of the problem? Let's consider these issues today. So now let's look at women in leadership. If I'm going to ask you now, what is your observation, or from everything you have seen, how would you rate women in leadership in Nigeria?
Okay, I think should I say phrase, or what you just read actually captures it a lot. And just to add from experience now, this is not just about the theory, like, okay, this is what we are reading about, the statistics and the numbers and all that, but even like myself now, in all of this, I see the whole imbalance. I think I use the word imbalance. I think it's leadership, of course, in the African setting is more inclined, when you say leadership, is more inclined towards like the male. I saw an IG post yesterday about a lady who was talking about hiring and she said, we shouldn't just have it in mind that when you want to respond to a hiring firm, or you just say hello sir. It's not really a sir. Why do you assume it's a sir? So there are at least some little it's not even just the big, like sometimes we don't even need to look at that big whole, like the little things that happen, like just from those kind of emails, hello sir, or you're signing a document or something. Just why do you assume it's a sir? Why do you think everything should just like be a male kind of thing? So I think we already see that silently and subconsciously, even our society just imprints that in our mind. We just see leadership as something that is a male figure kind of thing. And then when you say a lady in that kind of situation, it's like, there's like okay, how did she get here kind of thing? Did she do something? How did she get there? Or if she's there now, they look at it again from the angle of, okay, this one is not respectful. Like she's bossy, she's this, she's that, she's going to keep her home. There's just a lot of tags and all that. So I actually see the unfair balance when we talk about this whole leadership stuff, when it's pertaining to ladies, or should I say females,
Okay.
And for me, I think it's even interesting because recently I just even got appointed in my organization as a CEO. So when this whole of course there were deliberations before I was picked and everything, and one of the things of course that came up was the whole gender, but silently, not so much, but I noticed it. But I think when you just stand up for yourself as a lady, when your work and your excellence just precedes you, it just shuts a lot of mouths. Like they cannot just so it just happened the way it happened. So I think I will just say it out there for women. Yes, why those things are happening, let's just push ourselves and continue to be our best. There's some things that we don't even need to open our mouth to say. It's our works and our performance, our actions that will just propel us there. And even the guys and the men would have no option than to this lady. She just has to be doing that.
Talking about unfair balance. Most women they're already subjected from long ago. Most women have been subjected to men, so most times they don't see the need to want to drag this title or push to get this. How will you tell women, what will you tell them to do if the people that find themselves in this situation?
That's a big one.
Because even one of my mom's friend, she's going through that. She's somebody that the husband has always subjected. This one is even a family thing, not to talk of you going out. She's already have a low self-esteem. So once you go out there, she does not even have a say. Not to talk of me being a leader. How can I be a leader? How can I be? Even in the small community where there's in Catholic Church, we have the CWOs, as in women group, men group, youth group. You see that kind of person can never ever push to want to lead a group because she has already looked down on herself.
Okay, on that, I think that's a very sensitive one, because even the individual themselves, like the lady or the woman herself, already feels that way. So it's difficult to even come and say, to want to empower or to enrich. I think everything just actually starts from the mind. Okay, I work in an NGO, and that's one thing that we even push now. NGO like FLEP, we we are so interested in the mindset because we see the mindset as the greatest asset. Regardless of whatever we want to do on the surface, if the mindset is not shifted, everything will still be operating on a faulty platform or a faulty foundation. So yeah, for those kind of people, and the example you gave, I think I would be slow to just want to encourage and motivate. This word now, I just always quick to say, okay, you can do this, you can do that. I would be slow to do that, and I would rather suggest that, if she said something about support, I would suggest for more of women support. Some of these women, since they don't understand it, they can't relate to that, they feel already that low self-esteem. I would suggest that other women who probably are filling those leadership roles or who have a stronger perspective to this thing should stand up for other women. I think it actually just starts from the support, because those kind of people with the low self-esteem, they don't even know how to go out there. So before we push them too much in the front and then they even break out or whatever, let we support ourselves, let women support themselves. And I think that support, in that community, in that togetherness, everyone will actually build capacity, and then individual women will now be able to actually go out there and take on leadership. Yeah.
Okay, I actually have a story in relation to women supporting each other, but I'll keep it. That's another perspective.
Yeah, actually.
But now let's understand. Can you let us know the challenges that women go through in the role of leadership?
Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry about the distraction. Yeah. Some of the challenges. Well, the first obvious challenge is women sometimes don't even get the opportunity to even get there. That's one, obviously. And then when they not even get there, just like I earlier mentioned, we have some issues of how will I term it? Abuse. Okay. Yeah, like actual even sexual abuse. Yes. Yeah, sometimes it comes up when you find yourself as the only lady in the midst of lots of men in those kind of leadership positions. Sometimes those men even begin to And then another challenge I would also want to put out there will be should I say respect, even from your team, from your colleagues, especially if you have a team that's built up of maybe more males now in this kind of scenario. That mindset is also in them. Sometimes it's difficult for even the men to be able to, take decisions.
How can a woman do
that? Exactly. I know I battled it a little. I won't try to pretend to have it all figured out. Okay. I just said, I just got into this, so even me, I'm still we are still in the transition phase. I'm still settling in. So even in the organization I run, I'm still trying to create a balance with how I can relate with my teammates, with the males, with the females, and see that, because I already see that little. It might not be all over the place, but I see that from maybe guys giving me that whole that kind of vibe. Yeah. So of course that's there. Which other challenge? I think I'll just focus on those three for now. If anything comes up, I'll mention. Yeah.
Apart from challenges, now what are the impacts of women in leadership? Because most people, they're always, like I said earlier, want to subject women, even though they know that you have capacity, you have ability. But then maybe you should enlighten us. If a woman becomes a leader,
what are the benefits?
Yeah. I will still give another story. I'm going to be talking more from my personal and then
it's fine.
In general.
Yeah,
exactly. So recently, when I was doing the interview for this program and all that, for the appointment of this leadership, when we got to the whole money matters and all of that, when mine was eventually settled, when we got to my team and all, I spoke up and I asked them, okay, so how about my team? How do we raise and do lots of financial settlement for them? And the people who were interviewing were like, okay, we are concerned about you. This is it about women now. They always just want to care. Exactly. Yeah. So when he actually didn't say it that way, because when he mentioned it, that's one of the interviewers. When he said it, I'm like, oh yeah, actually interesting. I mean, at that moment I wasn't just thinking about myself. I was even saying, okay, my teammates. And it now took me to this video. I don't know if any of you have seen it, about a mother hen. One video one time about a cock and the hen. The hen is a lady, the female. And the cock is let me confirm so I don't make mistake on her. And she was feeding her. The male, this thing was just eating everything, and then the female was before she eats, she gives her, she gives. Yeah. So just linking it to that, I think the role of women we can't even summarize it. We can't just finish it up. I think it just starts from creation. Where God even created man, and then he had to bring a woman to assist. It just clearly shows us that whatever the man wants to do, he should just do. And I always link it with this saying, this popular saying about what man can do better. I do not, no. I actually do not go with that saying. Okay. I rephrase it to say what a man can do, he should do. and what a woman can do, she should do. There are really no comparisons. You know, there's something a lady just brings to the table that a man cannot bring. And of course, there's something a man brings. Let's not just leave it to the female part. There's something a man brings too that the woman cannot bring. Yeah, but I think there's just this strength God has given us. There's this holistic package we have as a lady. We can, from just normal activities, we are very multitasking. We can do a lot of things. So when you're in that leadership position, of course, your eyes and ears are everywhere. You know, you can actually pick a lot of things. You can, I know most times they say we take decisions out of emotions. That's one of the challenges or whatever, you know, why there's some fears sometimes for women in leadership. But I think those emotions, sometimes when we actually manage it well, it even helps us make better decisions as women instead of just rush. I think, yeah, women in leadership, it's something we should really push for. It's something we should.
Do you think that's one of the problem we have in Nigeria?
Yes. 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 Now, even if we don't have proof or statistics about it, let's look at the country, at least from just normal to fine, as we've had less women in leadership. We've not seen how the country has gone. So what if we just try and put more women in leadership? And, you know, let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Okay, now let's look at this perspective. We know there is no way, if we talk about a woman, you look at a woman, everybody sees a mother, procreation, she gives birth and stuff like that, builds a family, a home. Now they want to consider you for a position. The first thing your boss asks you, what happens to your marriage? When what's like, are you your marriage, hope it's not going to affect us, your children, hope it's not going to affect us, how frequent are you going to get pregnant? They ask those kind of questions. There was a story I heard of a lady. She was explaining why she did not want to get pregnant. She was at the peak of her career and she got married. She told her husband that for the first 5 years she didn't want to get pregnant because of her job.
Because of her
And like she knew, like she knew. Then there was a point she was, I think she was complaining she was ill back to back, like 2-3 months. The boss called her, "Are you pregnant?" And she looked at him like, am I slacking in my duties or something? And he just said, "I want to know, are you pregnant? Because I'm beginning to notice some things about you." So now we know we cannot take this away from us. Even before you get pregnant, please look at our menstruation. The cramps, people don't understand this thing. Though I agree that some women want to involve sentiment in some of these things, they start giving excuses for at some time. Well, because when people say that as a woman you're already disadvantaged when you come out to life, and you have to put in extra efforts to meet up. Because by the time, maybe for example, some people have their periods for like 7 days, 5 days, and some people are in the hospital throughout the 7 days. I have a friend like that. So it's like affects work. So now let's look at it. How do you think a woman can balance herself, that's career, motherhood, family, and then her emotions all together? Because like you rightly said, people always say women always involve their emotions in what they want to do. So how do you think as a woman, how can we actually balance these things?
Okay, thanks for that wonderful question. I think even for myself, I'm still thinking how I'm going to do that, but I will answer that, and I think my answer for that would be, it actually starts from the system of the organization. Like sometimes we like, this is actually part of the issue. Like, why are we thinking is the woman that is the issue? Of course, there are some things even about men that we cannot change, and then there are some things about women too that we cannot change. Of course, there are things that are already inside of that we have to do. Like those things are normal, of course. Giving birth, all those leave, the cramps, like that's how God created us, of course. So I think we should focus less on things that are outside of our control and focus more on things that we can actually control. And in this situation, what are one of the things we can control? The system, the organization. Build the capacities of your team, of your teammates. Now, when one person actually, I won't say completely pulls out, but maybe when there's like a leave or something where there needs to be like a short period of absence, there are people in the organization that can, just fill up that position. Not necessarily, I'm not saying they should take up your position, but the organization doesn't just have to fill your abrupt absence and it's like, okay, nothing is going on, okay, the woman has left the organization, we are struggling in this and all of that. So I think it actually just starts from the system, because for instance, now myself, of course I'm going to get married, of course I'm going to, I'm really in this position, I'm already in this position, so it's not as if when I want to give birth I would quit or they would collect the whole leadership position or role for me or something. But it actually starts from the system. When I have to like pull out for certain maternity or whatever leave or whatever it is I need, there should be people in my organization that can continue to operate, that can continue to manage the system, they should have the capacity. I believe so much in capacity building, and I think it's one area that sometimes we even just, why do we think it's the woman, why do we think it's the man? Because those things, like you said, of course they will happen, they would always happen. So it's the system, your teammates, who is like your next in command, who is like your assistant, or who understands the work as well as you. Most times we just want the glory. When we just say CEO, for instance, now maybe CEO, it's just you that knows everything in the organization. You should actually build your team, carry your team along. So when one thing or the other happens and you're not present, like you're not physically there, there are other people that can continue the work and they don't have to completely feel your absence and that the organization is crumbling. So I think in that regard, there might be a new kind of answer. I don't know if people have been answering from this perspective for a while, but I think it's just something that came to me recently, that why don't we just even build the organization, build the team? So when I have to like go on certain kind of living, people can still, so let's not look at it from the woman and
okay, but what happens when the system is okay? You have a favorable system, and then the women now try to take advantage of that particular thing. Because I'm speaking because there are some instances where a lot of some women come in with a lot of excuses. I'll be a mother someday, and like every time we're trying to do things and I'm like, okay, I have a career, I'm going to be a wife, I'm going to be a mother, how am I going to fix myself? It should not affect, one should not affect the other. We should always try to balance it. But there are instances where the system is favorable. You come to the office and maybe you're a nursing mother, you've gone on your maternity leave and you ask for some kind of permissions, they permit you, but you still come to work and slack. That's your place of duty. And the next thing you say is, it's not easy being a wife, being a mother, like everything. You ask for the blessing, God give you the blessing, it's not looking like it's a problem to you. So what would be your advice to women in that kind of situation? Because some women have it in mind like, once a man sees me, he should just favor me because I'm a woman. But then they come out to still fight for gender equality. You get? So how would you speak? Because them. If you permit me to speak pidgin, they spoil market for us. They spoil market because by the time you go to some places and as you are trying to pitch or say some things, they're looking at you like, we've had your time before. They said this and they still come and do this particular thing. So how would you advise women to come? I've heard people say it like, oh, why not go work? If I just come out and say I get cramps, if you ask me a question, it won't see my pad. They've said things like that. So how would you not advise people to come out of that particular type of mindsets and actually be productive at work?
Okay, that's they feel like you said the spoil market sometimes, honestly, because when you're actually coming out with a good course now, it's like those who have spoiled this thing for you before, it's like it's difficult for you to continue. I think this now brings us to that leadership. When we talk about leadership, what are things actually entailed in leadership? Because yes, sometimes we get it wrong as humans, whether male or female, we actually get it wrong as people, and we make mistakes that we might not even be the one suffering or facing the repercussion now, but our children or women in other generations that come up, or people in other spheres that come up, and will now be the ones suffering from the mistakes that we made, or the wrong decisions. Exactly. And I think this is just to talk about the kind of leadership now, like the individual, the personality and all of that. I think I would really encourage people to, live lives of integrity. There are a lot of people who, I know that's one value that, it's really difficult to maintain in Nigeria. When we talk about integrity, it's like, is there really anyone like in Nigeria still living a life of integrity? But these are things that actually entailed in leadership. And recently I was reading and learning about leadership. Leadership cuts across different kind of spheres. But I would just like to talk about like leading yourself, that's self-leadership, and then of course leading people, and even leading your superiors. How do you lead your superiors? By your works, by your excellence and all of that. It's not as if you have to go and say, do this. Of course, that's not how you lead them. You lead your own team like that. But for like your superiors, you lead them by the level of your works, your deliverables, your excellence, that even they're looking at you like, no, you are really doing this work, and they just have to succumb to whatever you're suggesting in meetings or whatever. So I think I will just focus more on that self-leadership. There are a lot of things that we need to understand about our actions, what we do now. Sometimes it might not affect us, but sometimes it will actually affect us, whether directly or indirectly. So I'll just put it out there. I'll just say this, like, I really want to encourage ladies to stop taking advantage of, or rather to stop taking excuses. How do I want to put it? To stop taking advantage of things that they shouldn't even do. When we talk about like this example of this cramps thing and of course, yeah, I've had scenarios like that. You know, I've had friends who have also said those kind of things. I'll just come out and they'll just, you know, but then you don't look and be like, really, is that like why? Like why? Like you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem.
Exactly.
Like affecting the system, and then later you want to come and blame the system. The system is not working. You are contributing to the problem. You know, if we just sometimes pause and just evaluate our actions. Okay, what am I going to do? What's going to be the repercussion? Who is going to be suffering from this? How is it going to turn out in like 1 or 2 days or even 2 years or something? I think sometimes we just pause and just rethink and take the right action.
Okay, thank you. I think sorry for I think we'll hold on that. We'll go on a break now. Okay, viewers, we'll be going on a short break, and when we return, Engendered continues. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. If you've just joined us, this is Engendered, coming to you live from our Abuja studios here on KAFTAN television. I've been discussing women in leadership with Tomisin Komolafe. Before I went to that show, I wanted to ask you a personal question.
Yeah.
I know leadership is not easy, especially when it comes to women leading an organization, and you'll be leading both men and women. How do you cope? How do you want to deal with the men when it comes to
when you say deal, like
what are your plans? Because some men will be like, no, you're a lady, you cannot tell me to do this. Like, what are the plans? What do you? I'm looking for the English word to use.
Okay, like, well, while you're still looking for the English word, I think to understand the question. Yeah, I think it actually just boils down to respect. Okay. Like, because we misunderstand what leadership means. Because you're leading does not mean you're not carrying cane and flogging people. You're not dominating. You're not like saying you must do this. Leadership is just you know, you're just in that position to also shall I say, like a shepherd does, you know, just to tend or, you know, look after those other people that you're working with. They also have potentials. They're doing great in what they're doing. They're just there to, you know, probably because you have a managerial skill, you know, to coordinate or coordination or whatever it is. So you're just coordinating everyone's abilities. So managing men, personally, I don't find it, okay, I think I'm just finding a balance, but I wouldn't say it's too much of a challenge for myself, because the aspect of respect is there. Like both female and male. Like I respect you as my teammate, I respect you as a guy, I respect you as a lady. So I have no issues, even in delegating or saying, okay, do this or do that. It's out of respect, because I understand that first and foremost, my leadership is not to even say you must do this. We are not, it's not cattle rearing we are doing. Of course, everyone has a say. So even when I work with men, I still give them that room to, you know, express. And then when I have to probably say no or something, even to say no is out of respect. Everything just boils down to respect. How you relate with the people, how you allow them also express, because they also have, there's a room for everyone to express, because the leader does not mean, so it even starts from the leader. If the leader already has it wrong, of course, whether it's a lady or a man, trust me, you would have issues with handling them. But when you already respect your teammates, and then in that way they even own the vision with you, because another thing is owning the vision. Like what's the vision that the leader is bringing, you know, in your tenure, in your distance, are your teammates owning that vision? Are they also running with the vision? Do they understand it? When you don't understand it, sometimes that's when you'll be seeing some friction. But when you're sure that they understand it, and when you two on your part, you're giving them respect, you know, you're acknowledging them. Of course, I think everything would go well. But of course, there are some that still want to come with their scoring sometimes.
Definitely.
But I think on the part of the leader, and speaking for myself now, I think I just actually give them more respect. There's no,
Okay, now let's look at the aspect of role models in female leadership. Now, you mentioned something earlier about women supporting each other. It's easier said than done. Okay. So now we have cases where people come out and tell you things like, I don't want a female leader because she's bossy. She's mean. Some people say because she already feels like people will take advantage of her, so she tries to put like a protective layer ahead. Then you don't have that kind of boss, and she now favors only the men because she has a soft thing for the guys. Then when it now comes to your female when it now comes to your female gender, and as they're coming, you're already feeling like this girl wants to take my position or something, or you're already feeling like she's a competition for you. She's a rival, that kind of stuff. And you now treat her like she's not also your fellow woman, And we always come out, our Twitter handles, Instagram handles, clamoring for women support each other. But when you now have even that little opportunity, like Pamela earlier mentioned, the Catholic Women Association or Fellowship, even in that kind of opportunity, you can't even stand up to help yourself. You understand? There was a particular time a friend shared a story with me why she left her job. And she said her boss then, she noticed that if a lady reached out to her and tells her like, oh ma, I can't come today, I have menstrual cramps. And she would tell you, I'm also a woman, I'm at work even with my cramps. You can't give me that excuse. I understand what she's saying. Maybe I really do understand her, but at least I believe that in that kind of organization, there should be at least one person you should give that particular exemption for. Everybody cannot be bad. And then people started complaining, or let's leave menstrual cramps out of it. Just when it comes to maybe taking permission, a woman came back. She shared another story that a woman came back from maternity leave, and the woman was she was requesting for like, I don't know, that it was 4 months or so, and she resumed like a week later, and the woman was like, I also have children, I did this and stuff like that, you can't be giving me. So she was literally just kind of harsh to them. That was your own experience with her. So she was looking at it like, she's my fellow woman, she should understand what I've been through. And from another perspective, I'm looking at it that the woman is trying to look at some of these ladies also take advantage of this stuff. And now there's some women that don't actually support other people. Another instance is we are journalists in this particular line of work. Personally, if you want to get guests or for some kind of things, for some people, if you reach out to the men, the male gender, they're easier for you to approach. Oh sir, I would like to invite you for this particular show. I want to talk to you on this. Oh, no problem, it's fine. But there's a woman that pause. No, there's a woman that you want to talk to. I'm like, oh, my schedule is this, my this is this. Okay, ma, can I have some contacts? You know this particular person. I'm trying to reach a top person to this place. Personal, not that they said, I was there when the girl was asking her for this contact, and she said, do you know how I suffer for this contact? You also have to work your way to get those contacts. And I'm looking at it like, okay, you got those contacts from a particular angle, and you should be able to help another person, make it easier for. I would actually prefer, if you ask me for a contact and I feel like the person is a top person that shouldn't just disclose the contact like that, I would inform him or her, please, someone is asking, can I share it? But there's a way women feel like I should block this place so you don't go and maneuver, because I feel like women feel like every time a lady comes into an office, maybe to meet a man, she has a seductive things on, and she might take him away from me.
True.
Sometimes they literally look at it like prostitution, because you will see the some prostitutes will tell you that their clients, they don't share their clients. So some people look at it from that particular perspective. Why do you think some women, I'm not saying all women, some women have this kind of mindset? Is it low self-esteem? Do they lack confidence? Do they have a problem with their personality? Is it a mindset problem? Because it is happening.
It is.
Even lecturers in school, it's happening. In school, I would prefer having a male lecturer than a female lecturer, because they feel like they already take advantage of me. What exactly is the problem?
I think, really, true problem. But personally, when I was also growing up, there was also this phase of my life where I felt more inclined towards the guys. Like, no one, and there's just this free aura about guys, like just free, but when it gets to ladies, more problem. Like, there's just, even
you have to rehearse your words and how you're
like, I have friends, I had more male friends then. So actually growing up, I realized that, the guys or whatever we are saying out there, that we are talking about, these whole ladies are always like back to back with themselves, like always giving themselves hot. I think you just need to build healthy friendships. I need the female vibe in my space. It's not just about the male. So yeah, pertaining what you said, I will start with saying it's actually sad. Like, honestly, I'm not going to try to defend or try to, it's sad. It's what is happening, like you said. I might have, if you even leave me to even maybe think through, I probably have had some experiences where, I've faced those kind of things. And even personally, not just leave it for me facing it, but even myself, we're all a work in progress. So probably even there might have been a time where even myself, I might have felt that insecure. Yeah, and probably even wanted to do that. I'm just hoping I did not completely do that to any lady. I know I've done that too, please, I apologize. But I think, just like you said, it comes from a place of insecurity. I think it's just insecurity and low self-esteem. because it gives us this mindset of this person just it just makes everything a competition, and sometimes it's not a competition.
Like we are all fighting.
I think that's where guys even get it easy sometimes, because it's just guy them. There's no even if you exactly no bad blood. Even if you come into the space, before you know, like a new colleague. Well, guys they never compare. Yes, let's just say less, of course. Guys have, but it's less because you just see how you just relate easily among themselves. But when it gets to like ladies, it's like something else. I'm like, why? But anyway, I will still continue to encourage, and I will still continue to encourage those who are actually doing the right thing. Continue doing that right thing. We might not completely be able to rule out the women who are not supporting other women. We might not just be able to completely rule it out within a short period. It's a long-term thing, of course, but gradually I feel we're actually just getting to that enlightenment and that awareness that we need to just support one another. And like you said, there are groups now that are actually formed, even if in some of those groups there are still some of them that are always fighting. It's just eye service groups. But those who are, I would just encourage those who are genuinely doing it, like genuinely supporting other women. Just keep at it. Honestly, it's rubbing off on other people. It's rubbing off on other people who might be feeling insecure. Just like the example you said about someone. How would you talk to a woman who has that kind of So if she comes into that kind of space and she encounters a lady who actually supports her genuinely, that kind of, it will touch you. You will feel it, and even she now moving on her own life, she'll be able to now wherever she meets a lady, she will be able to support. So even if it's just from one woman. Like even if in this whole world is just from one woman, I will encourage that one woman to continue to do it, and then the people she does it to, they would also imbibe that support and continue to do it, and we just continue. The numbers will just continue to increase. Of course, the number of the bad blood is more, but I'm just hoping as this awareness continues to grow, that people will just see the need to support women. So that's just what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say more than that.
Just me and Chidinma said earlier about the men not clicking with ladies not clicking with ladies. We know opposite attract. Let's go scientific. I feel that's one of the reasons why you see women always fighting. Especially when it comes to this leadership, you see jealousy, like they never support. I should be in this space now. You see them.
Who are you to give me that instruction?
Look at this one.
Look at this one. When did you come here?
I just feel it's because opposites attract and the rest of them, but we can, like you said, anybody that wants to make it work can actually make it work. Now there's also this cliche that says leaders are born, and some also say leaders are made. Like, what do you have to?
Leaders are leaders. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, some are actually like they're born into it. Of course, we have some examples of maybe you just inherit it, that kind of scenario. I'm just trying to give that scenario. Yeah, and then some are. Whether you are born into it or not, I think there just needs to be a making part, like the shaping and the reforming. Okay, so I'm a Christian, so I believe so much that everything in the physical is controlled by the spiritual. So I have to look at it. Can I? Yes. So, that's with the Christians. Yes, and there's something about I'm learning about sonship and discipleship. So because I'm a son of God does not mean all the features and everything will just come to you. Yes, you can be a son, but an immature son or a bad behaved son, you still need to come under discipleship. So in the aspect of this leadership you're talking about, yes, whether you're born into it or whether it came to you like on bed of roses or whatever, there still needs to be a making part of it. If not, whatever it is that you think you have, you would misuse it, you will waste it, you will abuse it. So let's not, whether you're born or you're not born into it, because some people are not. There are examples of people who didn't grow up from maybe rich backgrounds or wealthy backgrounds, but we hear their story now. They are occupying, if we only look at it from that bond, like maybe they had it in them, probably the situations and the scenario they grew up with, they probably have never known that they had those leadership capacities. But with time, as we were growing, something was reforming and making that and building that capacity in them that now led to that. So whatever that leadership are born to, there's a making time, there's a making period. I believe so much in that making. So because sometimes God might have deposited that in you, of course, and you know that, you just know that, see, I'm just supposed to be great in this life, but if you don't go under like the discipleship part, if you don't go under the making process, the refining, you just abuse it.
Just like when you know that if you plant corn must grow, but there's a process, and you don't follow those processes, It cannot grow very well.
So I think I'll hold more to leaders are made. Like, whether you're born or well, that is what you must be made.
Okay, so let's look at this one as we begin to round up now. Looking at where we are now, women, we've seen ourselves, our generation, the space, and I'm really scared to a certain extent because as little as social media rants, you see a lot of things happening to people on social media. Like for example, when Osinachi died then, when she died from domestic violence and stuff like that, I really saw some comments some women gave. I'm not ready to delve into that kind of thing. And I would like so much for women supporting each other and so much for women in leadership, because sometimes people actually forget that people actually refer to their social media. I've seen people lose jobs because of social media. Wow. They are applying for a particular job and they go to to check them to look them up on social media, and then they see some kind of comments or some things that they do. Now let's look at it. How do you think, as a leader, do you think it's important to actually portray yourself on the social media in a particular light, or just live your life? Because you hear people saying these days, let me actually live my life anyhow I want to live it. You see some people, maybe the way they dress, the way they live their life and stuff, they're like, it is me, I should live my life the way I want to. But because you're a leader, some people feel like it is limiting. So I shouldn't be confined to a particular type of lifestyle. Or people tell you what you post on your status and things like that. So are you of that opinion, or are you of that school of thought that you should actually portray yourself outside in a particular manner as a leader?
Well, I mean, the school of thought that a leader should be authentic. That's just what I'm going to say, authentic, because like, be who you are. And when I say be who you are, no, I'm not like in the aspect of, because some people now have taken this be who you are for something else. But I think it's just about authenticity. Like, I got a compliment some months, was it years back, and the person just said, one thing I like about you, Tomi, is that you're authentic. And I've held on to that thing so much, because for someone to even feel I'm authentic, it really matters so much. Like, authenticity is originality. It's integrity. It's like your no is your no, your yes is your yes. So it's about, forget about the leadership, whether you're not a leader or not. Like, as an individual, do you know what are the values you uphold? Like, you yourself, do you know yourself? Have you gotten to a point where you feel like, okay, no, as a person, this thing is just out of, I can't do this thing, because it's who you are that you will still bring into when you now enter those leadership position, or whatever capacity you feel in, it's still who you are that will enter that place. So if the individual is still struggling with certain kind of behavior, self-esteem, insecurities, or some promiscuous, whatever, and all of that, of course, you will still see traces of that even in the leadership. Sometimes those kind of people, we see that they now try to, like you said, when they want to now portray an image and say, okay, no, because they're now in that position, just be this, be that. But those people who are still struggling with their identity, they'll always just be a flop. There will be a time that they will lose guard, something, because your true self will always come out. You cannot, there's no image, you cannot who you are will always come out. So it's about who you are in person first. Are you authentic? Like, no, let people know that this is this person, this is her no, this is her yes. So whether you're in the light of God, I believe, okay, for me, aside what I do, like this whole leadership, so I'm also a craft artist, I'm a baker, I love artists, I love to draw and all those kind of stuff. So like, if you see me in different spheres, you'll be like, okay, is this the same? It does not mean I love Africa. I complimented this space, I love African vibes and all of that. So sometimes you might see me in that space and you're wondering like, okay, what she portraying, she's loose here, she's not forming that whole serious vibe like you're the leader. But it's just who I am, like, know me for me and let me know you for you. So be authentic. I would just say leader should be authentic.
Thank you so much. At least you're already calling on us to round up. Thank you so much. It's been an interesting session with you. I think for me, the highlight of today's episode is self-leadership. If you can't lead yourself, trust me, you can't lead anybody. And that's all we can take on today's episode of Engendered on KAFTAN Television. Do well to join us next time for an interesting episode. I remain Chidinma Ufomadu.
Leader or no leader, be authentic, like she said. I am Pamela, Ajaero. Bye.
Bye.